stronger than ever before. Times change, and you either change your city to fit them, or they'll change your city, often unpleasantly, more often unprofitably. Rochester has made its peace with the automobile. Is it practical to do otherwise? Does it make any civic sense whatsoever to cuss the tyranny of wheels and the insolent chariots, instead of getting together to plan a workable solution for traffic congestion? 20th century America is geared to the automobile, and thus is Rochester geared. Traffic flows here, flows faster all the time, because of community planning for the years ahead. Coincidentally, there is one of the best traffic safety records here of any city in the country. Believe me, friend, if you're driving more these days and enjoying it less, come to Rochester. Here, driving is the positive pleasure it ought to be everywhere. What's more, there's plenty of convenient parking space, thanks to more community planning for the years ahead, and the building of self-liquidating municipal parking units. Rochester Monroe County Airport is only 10 minutes from downtown. When these pictures were taken, the runways were being extended to accommodate jet flights. Change, not only to keep abreast of the times, but to keep ahead of the times, using every possible facility for moving people and products. Yes, Rochester is on the move, with every means of travel and transport.
It might seem like a sort of desolate place to some, but we're mostly Norwegian up this way. We've got an old immigrant prayer that goes, "Should all things perish, fleeting as a shooting star, O God, let not the ties break that bind me to the north."
Golden San Francisco. I know, I live there, on the tower. Seagulls, pigeons, but I like it. The Mo, you can always tell, flat feet. Ace on every corner. Don't look too hard, fellas. They got guns. You got 1,000 fellas. The king. Pin this tough sheen. It's the bosses. Because it's borrowed from some honor at night. You can always tell that's the lonely ones. Betcha. Some parts of mission. Could always tell. 1,000 on every corner. Hair was a crime. They'd be right on deck for Rochester. Look out, old man. Look out, old man. Mike is on the scene. Head first. Light up, fellas. Didn't cost me anything. 5 fingers and a quick getaway. Some store suffers. Beat your boogie. Yeah. Everybody's on the scene.
Stanley Mosk, Attorney General of the State of California. There is no one cause for juvenile delinquency, and therefore there is no one cure for juvenile delinquency. The elements that go to make up a
There's some vibration on this thing, but
there's already incredible. As they get a shot looking, it appears to zoom out slowly from south.
Road maps. This gradometer, for example, registers the pitch of the grade the car is resting on. When recorded on the Highway Department's survey map, this data will be sent to map company draftsmen along with blueprints of the road being built. Yes, it's swell teamwork on the part of everyone that gets speedy, accurate information from modern road maps. Daily, these men sail into their jobs unmindful of grueling road and weather conditions. Scenes like these, multiplied thousands of times, are continually taking place throughout the length and breadth of America. Each man adds his piece to the ever-growing and ever-changing jigsaw puzzle that makes up a road map. Speed is essential, particularly in the case of detour maps. Speed in getting the news on the map while it's still news. Speed in revising it when the roads are again open to traffic. When all this last-minute road information has been transposed to the overlay sheet, the sheet is removed and placed in a special vacuum frame. A huge camera then photographs the overlay onto a glass negative. This negative is photographically transferred onto a sensitized zinc plate, which, after having its face washed in an acid solution, is ready to be inked and locked on the press. This press swiftly overprints the detour symbols onto the latest standard road maps. These in turn are automatically cut and folded to the proper size, ready to give folks a good steer. Yes, map making has changed, has kept pace with a changing America. Modern maps guide us over the modern roads of the land, over great superhighways such as the famous New Pennsylvania Turnpike. Modern maps taking today's motorists where they want to go, when they want to go, quickly, comfortably, and safely.
With all the city's dedication to getting things done, Detroiters also know how to temper work with play. Beautiful beaches beckon its people to sun and sand and water. The world's largest freshwater beach is but minutes away from the heart of the city. A day at the zoo. The Detroit Zoological Park ranks with the finest in the world. Detroiters love sports, and Detroit provides an abundance of facilities as befits a sports-minded town. Here is what the late President, John F. Kennedy, said about Detroit as it bid for the 1968 Olympic Games.
The United States Olympic Committee has chosen Detroit, Michigan, as its nominee for the 1968 Olympic Games. Should Detroit be selected, as a result of your deliberations in Baden-Baden, I want to assure you of the warmest and most cordial welcome in the United States. Detroit is the center of a great sports community in central United States. We are anxious to open our doors in this section of the country, and indeed throughout the entire United States, to you all, to share our nation and our hospitality with participants and spectators from all over the world. I appreciate this opportunity to appear before you, and may all of you have the wisdom ascribed to the Olympian gods in arriving at your very difficult decision. Thank you.
A strenuous pace is balanced by moments of relaxation and serenity. Detroiters enjoy their water wonderland and their winter wonderland as well.
In other words, proper manners are your way of showing common politeness. As far as Bob is concerned, this is the best birthday he has ever had. And to top it off, a big birthday cake that Betty had made for him. He really appreciates this. For the cake is a symbol, like the whole dinner, of friendship. A very delicious symbol of the regard that Betty and her friends hold for Bob, particularly Betty. The lighting of the birthday cake with candles is an old custom, and so is the blowing out of the candles. But do you suppose the placing of the candles at the side is a modern touch of avoiding possible germs being blown on the cake? Serving the meat course upset Bob. Apparently serving the cake has its difficulties too. Our hostess isn't certain that she should be helping Bob. She worried about leaving the table to bring in the cake in the first place. Betty wondered if the serving should be left to the housekeeper. What would you say? There is no denying that Bob needs help. He is having trouble with the serving implements again. Do you think he might be able to figure out from the shape and the size of the blades which to use? Cutting and serving your own birthday cake would seem to be a pleasure, but could you actually do this any more gracefully than Bob is? Betty's help may not be as great as she thinks. What of her reaching in front of Bob, and about her placing the dessert forks? Are these correct?
To the top?
Yeah, I'll say it was. You know Tom Kelly, don't you, Mr. Wilson?
Yes, I think so.
Well, he was telling me yesterday how he almost did a foolish thing before I remembered to drive his bike. He was coming over to my house after school and thought he'd save time by riding down the wrong side of the street, so he wouldn't have to cross it twice. Then he thought how dangerous it'd be to drive a car down the wrong side of a busy street, and how easy it'd be to cause an accident. He decided that wasn't a very good way to drive his bike, and turned around and went back to the corner where he crossed in the crosswalk and rode down on the right side of the street. So you see, he probably avoided an accident by remembering to drive his bike. He might have been stopped by a cop, too.
Yes, that's right. Well, I have to get started for the office now, but I'd like to hear more about this later. It certainly seems to me you boys are doing a good job of driving your bikes. You're learning a lot of valuable and important things that will be very useful to you when you start to drive a car. In fact, you already know more about safe driving than most adult drivers. Well, so long. See you tonight.
See you, Dad. on, fellas. We gotta get going to school.
Now we have learned that it's very important to know all the rules and regulations of traffic, and that it's even more important to know why we have the rules and why we must obey them. But the most important thing of all is to know how to drive your bike safely without stopping to think of rules to cover every situation. You might not have time to think of a rule, so always use your head and think about safety. Always be alert when driving your bikes, and you can avoid an accident in which you might get hurt. Always be courteous and considerate, and you can keep from hurting other people. And by starting now and learn to drive your bikes, you'll be ready to drive an automobile when you're old enough, and you'll be able to do a good, safe job of it. But remember, drive your bike.
This first installation now enables telephone users to dial their own long-distance calls, as well as their local calls and calls to nearby communities. The equipment that makes this service possible is among the most complex that man has ever devised. When you dial a number, the equipment obediently receives the information, stores it up, and remembers it. It searches out an electrical pathway for your call, choosing the one that is most suitable at a given instant. If it finds one pathway blocked, it tries another, and another, and another. If it runs into trouble, it automatically reports the trouble and its probable source. Parts of the equipment connected with other parts exchange information. They do this sometimes by a touch system, such as the blind use in reading Braille. Sometimes it's done with a stream of electrons flowing through space. Sometimes it uses an elaborate system of musical notes, played in chords that are heard and interpreted by a mechanical ear. But even that's not all of it. Keeping track of the details of the call is done automatically too. When you dial a number, holes are punched in a continuous tape representing your telephone number and the number you dial. More holes are punched to show the time when you start talking and when you finish talking and hang up. If you get a busy signal or the number doesn't answer, no charge is made. Since all this information is in the form of tiny holes